Hey, it's Homework Help, Day 4, Week 6. In this first problem, I'm going to help you with order of operations. And in the second one, we have dividing a decimal by a decimal. I'm going to do that with traditional, and then I'm going to do it with partial quotient on the next page. So you watch the one that helps you. So let's start with this one. I'm going to write down my PEMDAS pyramid. So please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. All right. So we are going to start by taking care of anything in parentheses. And I can actually do both parentheses at once. So 15 divided by 5 is 3. 14 minus 5 is 9. But then I'm going to bring everything else down. Okay, now I have no exponents. Oh, can't even see that red on there. No exponents, but I do have multiplication. So I'm going to take care of that next. So 9 times 3 is 27, but I'm going to bring everything else down. Now that I have addition, I'm going to work left to right. So I'm going to start with 3 plus 9 is 12, plus 27. And if I add those together, I get 39, which is my final answer. All right, so now we're going to get down to dividing a decimal by a decimal, but we're going to do it using the traditional method here. So using a traditional method, first off, you cannot divide by a decimal. So we want to divide by 6. But here's the thing, you can't just make it a 6 and that's that. To make it a 6, we actually have to move the decimal once to the right, which means you're multiplying it by 10. But you have to do the same thing to both numbers. So we're going to move that decimal once to the right to make it 62.4 divided by 6. So what we're doing is we're really doing an easier problem, 62 divided by 0.4 divided by 6. Now notice this divisor has a decimal in it. You can have a decimal there, but your dividend, you don't want to have a decimal when you're dividing in the traditional way. So we're going to start off here. First off, I'm going to put my decimal up here, and I know 6 goes into 62 10 times, which is 60. Subtract 2, bring down the 4. And 6 goes into 24 4 times, so my answer is 10 4/10. All right, so let's go over to the next page. And how do you do this using partial quotient? Well, in partial quotient, you don't want to deal with any decimals. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to move both decimals in this number. So I'm going to move this decimal twice. Remember, that's the same as multiplying it by 100 to get 624. Now here's the cool thing. If I move this twice to get 60, because I move both decimals the same amount of times, I don't have to move them back when I'm done. So the answer to 624 divided by 60 is the same answer as 6.24 divided by 0.6. So once I'm done, I'm done. Now, let me start here. Here's what I know. I know 60 times 1 is 60. So 60 times 10 is 600. So 60 can go 10 times into 624, which is 600. When I subtract, I get 24. And since 24 is less than 60, I'm done. Except instead of writing 10 remainder 24, we're going to try switching to something which is basically a more middle school way of writing remainders. We're going to write them with a fraction remainder. So we're going to write it as 10 and 24 60ths. Now, I'm okay if you leave these in, if they're not in simplest form, but if you want to reduce it, you might recognize that 24 and 60 both divide by 12. 24 divided by 12 is 2, and 60 divided by 12 is 5. So that would be the reduced form. So you can have either 10 and 24 60ths, or 10 and 2/5. That's it. Now, notice if you did watch both division problems on the other page, you got 10.4. Well, 10.4 equals these two answers. It's just the decimal form. So they're both the same thing. And I don't care if you have the decimal or the fraction. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's it for today. If you hope that helped. If you had any questions, make sure you ask me in class. Thanks.